So we are going to create a bank. So let us make sure first I went to new all, and I refreshed everything. Going to customize, go to unit setup, make sure I'm at US standard feet and fractional inches. And I'm going to go to manage, set my current project folder. And I'm going to set that in fall week 3, okay? And I'm going to save the file as. I haven't made anything yet, but it's good to save it. I'm going to save it as bank number 1. And just to make our first step of our bank, if you remember in the other tutorial, we went to top, we drew out a long step. And over here you can actually change the height and width of that. So say 11 inches by, say, 11 inches. Now this would actually be 50 feet. And this can be 7. Remember 7, 11? Height of 7. 50 is a little big. How about 30? 30 feet there. It's a big bank. So then I'm going to snap this to the middle by turning on this snap tool. There we go. Now it's right in the middle of the scene. Turn that off. And I'll select this step, and just like last week, we will use the array tool. Preview that, but we know we're going up over 11 and up 7, right? Because each step is 7, 11. You can see that here. So the height of this multiplied by the width of that, one to another to another. Say OK. Now one thing we didn't do, we did not name these. So let's name this step 01. Okay, and then we will array, set our array. So those are the steps up to the bank, and now we need to make the, I think that's too tall, something a little less. There we go. So we'll run the bank up to about here, and then we're going to make a box. And I'm going to, from the very point of this box, I'm going to drag down. Actually, you know what? In this top view, I'm going to hit Control W to go into the top view here. And our last step ends here, so I'm going to zoom in. Make sure we get this right. Drag it out to here and back down to about there. And then you see here the height is changing. I'm going to say about 11 feet up. That's too tall. So I'm going to choose my scale tool in the side view. Scale that down so it's about at the same height of those steps, and I can actually zoom in. Alt W. It's the same as clicking this maximize view screen. Alt W, and you can scale it here. And if we look here, it's not quite touching, so let's move that up. I'm going to look in this view while I'm moving it in this view. So I can move it very slightly here while zooming over there. Same story with this. So let's change the height of this. It says the height is 30 seconds. Let's just change that to height of 11 and 3. Okay. So how about 11 and about there. Okay, and then I'm going to take the base and duplicate it up in this view, or this view, doesn't really matter. And I'm going to make this the bank part of the building, or maybe even the roof. And I call this bank roof. Move it all the way up to the roof. Select this bottom one here and call this bank floor. Then I'm going to go around and I'm going to create a wall for the bank. Now, first things first, I'm going to edit this roof real quick. I'm going to go to the modifier list and hit E on my keyboard for edit poly. I'm going to choose the vertexes here. Now, when I choose the vertexes, I'm going to just select the top vertexes. I'm going to hit Z on my keyboard to zoom in on those vertexes. And then I'm going to scale only in the Y, or rather in the X. Scale down so the middle of this actually becomes the peak of the roof. I'm going to pull that up so it's a little more Greek looking. I'm going to zoom in a bit more, and I hit R on my keyboard, E, W, E, and R on your keyboard. They're all side by side. You gamers should be used to this. They're not the right buttons for your games, but at least there's 3 buttons on the keyboard that you're using often. W for move, E for rotate, and R for scale. I know R should probably be rotate, but look, it's just in order. W, E, R. That's the way it is. So now I can choose move, and it looks good to me. I'm going to turn this off. And now let's make a wall. And it turns out that instead of making a bunch of boxes or doing a Boolean thing, which we haven't covered yet, I'm just going to use the ACE extended toolkit in the create panel. And I'm going to choose wall. And I'm going to say my wall is going to be, I don't know, 20 feet tall, the width of 1 foot. So in this top view here, I'm just going to click on the very edge. And this is going to make it a little bigger than it needs to be. But I'm just going to follow this. Try to keep my wall straight. And try to just follow the outline of this building. And go to this corner here and here, and it will ask us, do we want to close it? And we say yes, weld that, hit escape to get out of it, and there we go, we have a wall. Hit Alt W, and you see in this view that it is too big, too tall. So what do? Well, we grab the tool, move it up, grab the scale tool, scale it down to about there, and then we're going to use the move tool and move it back a little bit, and this as well, this roof line and the floor underneath the roof line. I'm just going to scale this back a little bit. It's about there. That way we have a little bit of a front porch, so to speak. And then we'll just scale down this wall a little bit. and just a very little bit. So we have a little edge along the side of the bank. And then we're going to grab this wall and move it down just so it touches the top of our step. And grab our roof line, move it down so it just touches the top of our wall. And then we'll put in some pillars. But first, we want to create a door. So I can go to our extended objects here. So I can choose doors. I'm going to choose a pivot door. I'm going to make it a double door. And that's basically a double French door. And there's the height, width, and depth of our door. So what I'm going to do is, while this wall is selected, I'm going to hold Control as if I'm making a new selection, which is what I'm doing. I'm telling the wall, hey, I'm about to insert a window or a door into this wall, and I want to add it to this group because it's going to actually cut a hole. Because if I just put a door on this, it's going to be a fake door. It's going to be a wall behind that door. I need to actually cut a hole in this wall. So holding Control, I can click and drag out straight down. And that shows us the sill of the door. And then I can pull back out to about the, if you notice over here, the depth of the door, how the door frame at least. So I can make the door frame about as wide as the wall. Maybe a little wider just for dramatic effect. And then I pull the door up. And if you notice here, the height, a nice height for a door is about 9 feet. So let's change this. So the height should be 9. The width, if each door is 3 feet across, about 36 inches, the width should be about 6 feet. And the depth should be about a foot. But it looks like it's a little less than that. It looks like it's only 8 inches. What happens if we do a foot? Does that look too crazy? I don't think so. Through here, and you see that there's been a hole cut out of this wall for us. You can't see it very well, but there is, and I can show you by moving this door up just at the top. And as soon as I let go of this, this wall will fill in. Boom. There we go. So we have nice big bank doors, and I can actually, if we ever animate this door, you can grab it and move some of its parts. For example, you can change the open and closedness of the door, so you can animate it. So let's go to the creating the pillars. And we're going to go to our extended primitives, cylinder, of course. And I'm going to drop a cylinder right here, about this tall. And that's a little too tall, so you can notice it goes right through the floor, which I think technically is actually how they build them, but this is an animation. So we just need this. So it's going to use the scale tool and the move tool here. So it's just big enough. Kind of a little too big, I don't know. Column's a little too big. So I'm going to scale it down. Then scale it up. That looks better. So say we do, I'm going to hold Shift and I'm going to drag 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 columns. And I'm going to select 1, 2, 3, right? So holding Control adding to my selection. I'm going to move these columns to this corner. So it's just about touching that. And then select these columns, move them so they're just about the edge of that wall, and then back just a little bit. Then I'm going to move these columns to the front. So I'm just going to hold Control to select all those. And it's also, you can do this over here on this list. Uh-oh, looks like we forgot to rename them. All right, that's good enough for now. So pretty banky looking bank. And one last final touch. Well, two last final touches. First of all, this will not do, and we know how to fix this. We talked about this last week, making a triangle shape and extruding it along there. And we will do that right now. Classic move. Select this step, go up to this step, make sure those are touching. Close enough. Go to modify. Not wide enough yet, but doesn't matter. So we're just working on the side view. Go to modify, hit E for edit poly, choose those vertices, select this, goes right to here. Now remember, when I did this, I shift drag selected it. That way I'm selecting both of these points at the same time. If I just clicked on one of them, I would just select one. You need to drag select a selection over both those points. And then you can move it into the stairs, never to be seen from again, until you scale it. And in this view, I'm going to scale this out all the way to the end. I'm going to move this over. And in fact, we actually know how big this is. It's 50 feet long, right? Say yes. So the width. Oh, you know what? That's going to screw this up. All right, so we're just going to scale this to the end of our stairs. Zoom in here just to make sure it's nice and perfect with the stairs. Boom. Even make them a little wider. That looks like it needs to be a little wider. So hit R for scale. Scale them up so they're just a little wider. W, and there we go. We fixed them. All right, one last step. We're going to create a text primitive. And a text is actually a spline, which is a line which does nothing yet. So I'm going to choose text. I'm going to say, type in the word bank, and I change it to Budini, which is my favorite. Budini black. Boom. Pretty banky looking bank, right? Budini black literally looks like money, like the words on your money. Because it's almost the same typeface. Now we're going to modify this. I'm gonna hit E and hit extrude, and voila. Extrude out my letters. Move this up. And I know this is an animation. This is not real life. You would never have a bank with a word bank floating over it. It doesn't matter. And let's grab our steps here, all of our steps. Let's call this stair base. And I'm going to grab these steps and drag them all under stair base, right? That way when I select this, the whole thing should move together. That way these are individually grouped under this. All right, now I'm just going to select just about everything and make it all the same color. So there's my material editor. I made a new color called bank, and I'm just going to assign that material to selection. And then I'm going to select this guy and say assign material to bank, assign material to object. There we go. It's a pretty banky looking bank. Maybe these doors will make bronze or glass. How about glass? Glass doors. Oh, you can't even see through them. Don't worry, they're there. All right, so that is our bank. Now we can continue on in this. Create a, let's say, go back to create, make a box. Let's make a sidewalk out in front of the bank. It's a nice long sidewalk, just a little bit tall. Drag this over to the middle here, just so it's touching the bottom of the stair. Pretty convincing? I think so. Add a nice sidewalk color. Here I've made another color called sidewalk, which is almost the same color as the bank. And then we'll make some other buildings next to it. And now that you know how to make buildings and insert doors, and also it works for windows as well, I can make another building right here. And another building right here. And then assign those the same boring color, or maybe something fun and new. Say this one. Assign this building color to it. There you have it. Our first little city scene. Now when you do this, I want you to take a render of it. Scan line, where's the scan line renderer? Just this straight up. There we go. There's our render. And then save that out. And just save it as a JPEG in our 3D Max file. Bank. So my name. Say OK. And then email that JPEG along to me to show me that you did it. Very good. All right.